See how it all does pan out as the first game between TNC Predator and T1 is just about to begin, and you see the beautiful Arnold Bristleback and even more beautiful Phoenix being played by Joe Camp. I get very jealous of people that have those nice Phoenix cosmetics, John. So I don't have them.
Really? Like, I swear one of them was just an immortal that get from the chest. Don't tell me you didn't spend on the immortal. Oh.
No, I didn't actually. I really didn't. Ashamed to admit it.
Log yourself a...
True. We'll see how Joe Cam can perform. Of course, this hero has been so powerful in this meta. It's just good in every single stage of the game, right? Like, early game, you destroy the lane. Mid game, Egg destroys, Sunray destroys, Fire Spirits just do so much damage. Later on in the game, especially once you pass that level 15 mark, you've got those great 15 talents, but more importantly, the plus 35 Fire Spirit DPS. And in conjunction with the Sunray, you can really burn down this Bristleback quite fast.
It's going to be, again, a massive issue for TNC if they don't make that in check. Get a good start for themselves. They need to ensure that Armel, at the very least, farms up one of his tanking items. I think in this case, he'll be looking at a fast hood into a pipe, hopefully to mitigate that magic damage coming out from T1. They have the Lash, they have the Pugna, they have the Phoenix. That's going to be the main thing he has to block out. Anyway, I think if he gets a timing that we tend to see, let's say at 10 to 12 minutes for a pipe, maybe 13 to 14 at best, he's going to be in a position where he can tank true, but it's not going to be the easiest time to find that farm.
30 seconds to battle.
KP, you're going to take a very early outpost. Pretty standard stuff here, trying to already get a little bit of control up at this top jungle spot. We've actually placed Forev on the Mars off the top lane, understanding that KP's probably going to be there on the Beastmaster, and you can't really blame him for that, right? Because the Void will definitely not enjoy going up against the double balls of KP.
Definitely not. It's not a fun lane for any core to play against. It is preferable for T1, just tossing Remorse up there. It's not like he's going to do anything in particular against Gabby. You can still apply some decent pressure with Paulson up against that Phantom Lancer anyway, so I can see this working out fine for T1. We'll have to watch out for, I suppose, down the line for March, trying to push out that wave. He hasn't committed to what he wants at level 1 just yet. He could still go for that Illuminate level 1 if he wants the damage. Let's go with the Chakra instead. Gonna be a bit harder to drain out Gabby's initial mana.
Of course, you have that level 1 Nether Ward from Pulse, and just to be really frustrating towards March and Gabby, and it only makes sense having the Nether Ward level, because that, when you level up Chakra Magic, it indicates you plan to really spam your abilities. Paulson can just get extra value every time they try to do that, though. You also keep Miracle quite safe on the Void. Standing, they're always going to be a little bit afraid to throw the Lance out. Shouldn't have too bad of a time down a bot, but we'll have a quick look at mid. In your dream, I would argue John is going to have a much rougher time. Up against the Bristleback, he can't really get close for the Edict. He's always going to stand back, case that Cool Spray, and at least he does have the Magic Stick up already, but this is going to be pretty rough up against Armel.
Yeah, it's not a very good lane for the Leshrac, of course. You do have to be very conscious about your man pool here. Once Armel is down, not going to have as much harassment to pump out onto IYD. So that is something in your dream can just wait for the mana to tick out, and I think just happy enough to try to shove out his wave and get some last hits that way.
The only problem is, though, you're going to have a Soul Ring coming out on Armel fairly quickly. Like, I can't imagine he's going to run out that much. I don't know if that opening's really going to be there for In Your Dream. Like, if he doesn't really slow down the Soul Ring timing, which, as it stands right now, Armel is at the top of the last hits board, so I can't imagine he will. does have a mango available just in case he does run out of mana early on. So we'll have a quick look at top. Tim's going to be there on the Snapfire. Forev is there on the Mars, of course, and he'll be up against KP. We'll have the support of his Phoenix Jokam in the laning stage. Jokam unfortunately missing all his fire spirits onto Tim's, who's dodging very nicely. Does get the last one. Icarus Dive Jokam, that was very dangerous of him. Scatterblast does go out. Tim's has Cookie and KP will be there to follow up.
First blood.
Jokam, I don't know why you go for that dive. It was only level 1 anyway. It's 10 damage a second.
Yeah, that's an interesting move to make, rather questionable, honestly, and it does give him a bit of a reset at the very least, so he goes back in lane, fully filled up, ready to try to pump some harass out, and he is taking attention away from Forev, who's basically had a free lane up top, definitely far away and ahead from KP at 22-6 compared to KP's 15-2, so he's had a great time on this morning.
Trying to apply even more pressure as bot lane. Gabby does start falling quite low to Miracle. You know, I've got to say, John, Gabby's not having a good time at all. Like, Miracle has the lane completely to himself right now. To be fair, the Pugner, Paulison, he's left the lane. He's making his way back now with an Invis rune. Gabby will get a salve, I believe, off March. Try and keep himself up. The harassment really has been dished out quite heavily from this Void and Pugner.
Definitely. That's one of the things, again, with the PL plus pretty much any support, although Kotl in particular is just not a great match. You can't really match up with that aggression, and Kotl isn't really a defensive hero. He has Blinding Light, but Pulse can just go in and Nether Blast.
Bash is going to be so frustrating for Gabby. He gets another one. Miracle hoping for some more luck here. Gabby playing with fire by turning around. Be alright. But you can see this Void constantly looking out for that attempt, and he gets another. Gabby forced a doppelganger now. Not feeling safe at all. The Void can be a little bit ridiculous if you are a very, very lucky person. In fact, they may go for a dive, but no, it's a bit too early. But you're still free farming on the Void. Like, you couldn't ask for more if you are T1.
Definitely not. It's been a good time here for T1. I think the pressure being applied onto Gabby is exactly what you want. You don't want to give him any room to start farming up, to get the space he needs to get a good timing in his defusal. Again, once that defusal is up, you're basically looking at your Leshrac completely out of the picture for the most part. He's not going to be able to sustain his mana to get that damage out, and you're really depending on that Lesh to help you isolate and pick out who the real Phantom Lancer is in that mid-game with his magic damage.
Now in your dream, spotted out March, and well, he knows that there's a bit of stacking going on here in the Radiant side jungle, so he will come clear that out. While bot lane, that Gabby felt very, very low, and he actually TP'd all the way back to the fountain. Seems like a pretty huge loss, as he's going to have to walk his way back to another lane, and looks like he may be switching. He's going up top now. Just not being able to sustain at all, but I don't think he's going to have a much better time up against Forev and Jokam either.
It's not an easy
dream though. Mid lane in trouble. Illuminate does fly through, although Armel falling low but not low enough. The T1 should clear him up, and there was an Icarus knife just in case. Now the Sunray will come out from Jokam, and they're going to try and find a secondary in the form of Tim's on that snapfire, though Tim's may get a courier for himself if they're not careful with that. Paulison going to keep moving forward, has the Nether Blast but won't commit. And you know, Tim's mount is running in a very strange way, John. That's not generally how it should work. Tim's still trying to run. Paulison has the brown boots. Tim's does at least force the split gold between the two, so it's not quite as nice as Paulison would have enjoyed it.
Definitely not. A bit of a waste of time still. They do manage to, at least in the end, trade heroes in that sense. but overall, I think T1's still going to be happy. They did manage to clear out Armel. At the very least, they managed to still get that kill. They got the additional kill on the support, so gonna be a bit happy. Once more, you take a look at TNC. They have switched Gabby up top, as mentioned earlier. They still are keeping KP around, so really just trying to give Gabby that good lane he needs. And this is certainly a lot of investment, but the PL does take that much to keep up.
Well, in all fairness, KP does have the Primal Roar, but now Arena comes out, so he may have to commit, but he won't have time. The stun was there. The God's Rebuke, more than enough to burst through the Beastmaster's HP. And without that Beastmaster, Perez should easily be able to bully this PL out of here. Just needs to have that God's Rebuke back. Gabby trying to fight. Spear comes out. It's a lot of damage on Gabby. Ferev doesn't really have the Soul Ring yet, so can't do too much. And in fact, Tim's is going to rotate with an Invis rune, but won't make the jump. And well, they're actually going to continue this tri-lane. Primal Roar Rev should be okay to take down, and it looks like they will have the damage output. And perhaps now they can force down the T1 tower.
That should give them free lane once they take that objective out. Again, the key here is to give Gabby a lane where he can just farm safely. And there's just nothing in the bot lane. It's a dead lane for him. He can't contest it. He can't hold his own against the Void. I have to say, though, T1 has been holding on to that Chronosphere from Miracle for a while. So he's TP's up top.
It's coming. And he took the T1 bot tower, in all fairness, so he probably just felt like he could do that. Although Miracle now moving forward, he sees Gabby. He also caught Tim's. That's a huge chrono very early on, and they'll find two massive pickups on the side of T1. In fact, In Your Dream's not done. The time dilation slowing down KP. In Your Dream taking a lot of T1 tower damage. Can he connect with the Split Earth? Not quite, so I think it's about time they leave. Although, what a spear coming up for Rev. He got the arena down as well, KP. He misses the God's Rebuke. It will not matter. He does pick up the kill, but now look at these rotations. Rev is in a lot of trouble. He needs to get out. But while they're there, they will clear out the jungle stacks that were available. So while you still do take down the Mars, you clear out their jungle, you take their stacks. T1, they must be very, very happy with this.
Definitely. That was one of the best first Chronos we've seen so far, and Miracle just delivered. Two big heroes caught out there. They get the kill onto Gabby. The one hero that you really don't want to lose at this point in the game is taken out, and that is spectacular from T1. They managed to get the egg up in Jokam as well, so they've got another tool in case they want to keep going, although they would probably wait for the Chronosphere before they expend that. But the tools are starting to come together for T1, and TNC has to be really careful about clumping up. They cannot commit to big 5v5 fights yet. They can play the pickoff game with KP, try to isolate heroes, try to get solo pickoffs. I think Miracle is going to be a prime target. He's always in that bot lane. They've got decent warding around that area. They should be able to punish that Faceless Void, but they're just not looking to do that just yet.
Looks like March is trying to force in that T1 mid tower with Illuminate, but too effective as you do have a partner on the other side. Now Tim's does get a nice, or gets speeded up by Ferev. God's Rebuke is well going to come out. You do have the arena, but he doesn't want to commit it onto Armel. Armel, the one saving grace right now for TNC. Really farming up very nicely at 4.8k, although Primal Roar, In Your Dream being caught out in his own jungle, and he will go down. Some great setup from KP.
Is under attack. Radiant structure.
Yeah, good pickoff to find. Definitely one of the bigger heroes you could clean up there from T1. TNC gonna just be happy with that. That's exactly how they should be playing. Playing around the Beastmaster Roar, finding those easy pickoffs they can get with that long stun, and taking the objective afterwards. This is what their lineup can excel at, and it's what they should play around, especially while T1's not ready to expend their Chrono and Arena and Egg. But you should exploit that weakness, although I believe they might be going to counterfight now.
Miracle has Chrono, he's thinking about it, and he does commit it. Takes the Invis rune away, though. Will-O-Wisp has been dropped. A March with the Blinding Light, now Egg to be dropped, but it doesn't really do anything. Not quite. In fact, Ferev now could be in trouble as Armel looks to turn around. They will not. But that is two huge ultimates wasted from T1. And, you know, John, KP's Primal Roar is going to be back up in about 20 seconds. That is a bit concerning for T1.
They've got a lot of a wider window for TNC to get their spells out. T1 has to really commit hard if they're going to go for something, and it felt like that was just a bit too hesitant. Miracle took way too long to get to the top lane with his TP, just played a bit too greedy, farming out that bot lane. If they were going to defend that tier 1, they should have done so earlier. They knew they were clumped up like half a minute earlier than that. They could have tried to set up while the position was better. Instead, they had to throw out the Chronosphere onto Armel, not the ideal target. The Bristleback is tanky now. He does have his Vanguard up to mitigate the physical damage coming out. You're going to need a lot more magical damage to really put a dent in him, and IYD is just not quite set up to pump that damage safely yet. So there is a moment here where Armel should be able to just really stand his ground, not worrying about the output on T1 just yet. And that is definitely not the target you expend two big ults on. I think you'd really want to pick out definitely Gabby. Perhaps KP, although I think the supports would be a bigger target here. Tim's in particular can be annoying along with March. Just take out the potential for the Will-O-Wisp to turn stuff around. Take the potential out for the Mortimer's Kisses. And T1's going to be happy to clean up afterwards.
Now the bot tier 2 being forced in by In Your Dream and Miracle. They do back off.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
They really want to try and force down that T1 mid, it seems. Of course, that does open up the map for T1. Considering you have a Pugna Leshrac, you really want to try and get that soon. They are going to try and force it down now, though. This could be a big team fight coming out as Armel will show himself on the bristle. KP will TP in. And although they get it low, they just can't finish the job off.
I don't think that's too big of a worry for a team. They've got the Ether Blast in case they are forced to deny it anyway, because it is low and you have the Pugna around that can threaten it, so just taking it out, take the gold away. That does mean you lose out in the control, but you immediately smoke up.
However, the PO has been caught out top lane. In Your Dream does land the Split Earth, and that's Gabby dead without even an ultimate committed. That is a pretty big concern if you are TNC, as Gabby's already had a hard enough time farming up, and just losing his life like that before he gets his defeat is never good though. Bot lane, who have they found there? It is Miracle. So the pos ones get traded. It did cost you a Primal Roar, but I believe that would be very, very well worth it.
Definitely. While that was happening as well, there was a bit of a chase. You did see March getting jumped on by Forev and Paulson. Not quite enough damage for some reason. They missed out on the spear, so March could just walk away from the arena. That was the arena drop as well. So a bit of a cooldown that T1 would have to wait for if they wanted to play around that. Still, that should allow TNC to get some chip damage on that bot tier 1, but not for too long. Their push potential is great with KP, but they still have to worry about the Chrono and the Egg that are still available for T1.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Outpost trying to be taken back by TNC, but T1 do show themselves and do force them back a little bit. You're always afraid, as Miracle does have the Chrono available right now. Definitely wants to get it off cooldown if he can. Still T1, although they have lost a couple small engagements, are sitting in the lead at about 2k net worth. They've been in the lead pretty much the whole time as well. They really haven't let that go at all. I guess with this draft, they can really just continue to force down towers. Like, there's not too much to be afraid of here from TNC. You've still got all your ultimates back up. They are taking their time with it.
They definitely are. And this is giving Gabby room to play some catch-up form. Does have his defusal up and running, so if he can close the gap with the Leshrac, he can basically burn down his mana and take away a lot of the magic damage Tier 1 is relying on. But I don't think the defusal is going to be enough by itself. Perhaps by the time he picks up his Hood of Defiance, he's going to be in a much better spot to start applying that pressure onto the Lesh. Still taking their time. They are slowly just nether blasting away on the bot tower. At the very least, they have IYD around with the Diabolic.
Chrono gonna catch two of them. KP, he walked into it just at the end as he was primal roaring. Still, the primal roar will be enough to stop them from killing off Tibbs, and now they look to turn it. But there's a Sunray Arena actually catching two, but somehow the Beastmaster actually gets out of there. Just kind of squeezed his way between the lines, and with that, Paulison does go down to Gabby. But Gabby, he goes way too far forward and loses his own life. Now Armel trying to find more trades, but they will not get in your dream. Instead, they may have to settle for forever, or will they? He just TP's down in front of them. They just don't have a way to cancel it.
Yeah, that is definitely an issue of this draft. Again, they don't have the best stuns. They have Cookie, they have Roar. That's really it for the interrupts. So by the time you expend both of those, or if you lose your Snapfire, you have no way of stopping that engagement. Now, you did see issues there from T1, right? Like TNC managed to get the Roar off, and suddenly that Chronosphere is not as clean as you'd expect. They are forced to grab basically just one kill from that Chrono. You did see Gabby fall in the end, but that was because he was playing aggressively from behind, trying to clean up. Again, that defusal doesn't give him quite enough to stand in the middle of all that damage coming out. It's good damage for himself, but doesn't make him any tankier. Still, TNC gonna try to take this time to clear out that Roche.
They are. Keeper of the Light, though, gonna get melted March. He was trying to take the outpost, and now they'll know the Roshan's going on. Forever gets another nice arena, but they've only got Armel in there, and that's not the target you really want to go after. Sunray will melt him a little bit, but not enough to force Armel back. He'll just heal through it. Now they look to re-engage. His Primal Roar will be there on the Pugna. Paulison. Looks like Paulison will just be left alone. And it's back to that outpost. They want to have one before that 20-minute mark. Looks like they will be able to secure it. The question is, can they actually finish this Roshan?
Egg is up and running from T1. They're not going to have the Chrono, and it doesn't look like T1's in position to contest.
Oh, for it? Nice blink away. Oh, actually gets the Hatred as well. Very nice. Comes back in after Tim's now, just trying to really distract them as Will-O-Wisp in the backlines. They're caught in your dream, but the egg is going down. Still, they have the little shredder, and that'll be enough for Armel to finish the egg off. And with that, you can certainly go back for that Roshan. KP already there, throwing the Hawk out to get vision. And that Roshan is certainly going the way of TNC.
Yeah, that aggression from T1 to try to block out TNC. I mean, it looked like it was working. They did distract him out, but they lost their two heroes. They had to drop the egg as well. So that just means the Aegis goes uncontested. Surprised Miracle didn't try to make anything happen with his Chrono.
Didn't have it at the time though. So now he does have it. KP does end up going down. March getting very low, does also die. He still holds on to the Chrono. He doesn't need it yet. Gabby falling, and now the Chrono comes out. He waited for another one to run in. They'll get the Aegis, but how do you deal with Armel? Well, in your dreams back, Split Earth will be there on the PL. They're just looking to melt Gabby down on Gabby. Doppelganger will be there, but in your dream is on his tail. They decrepify, they amp up the damage, and there's only one left. It'll be the Bristleback Armel, and you know what, John? When he's alone, he's a lot easier to deal with, and that's exactly what they do.
Just a complete team wipe going the way of T1. It looked a bit rough initially. You know, the patience from Miracle there when he already had his Chrono out and just opting to TP later instead of before the Roche fell looked a bit rough, but in the end they managed to make it work. TNC were feeling confident in trying to take that fight. They just got caught out. That was a really good Chronosphere coming out from Miracle, isolating one life of Gabby, and that was really enough. They managed to split the team up, find the pickoffs in while that was happening, and managed to give themselves a pretty good time. They didn't have to worry about too much on the second life there.
Arena, March. Easily torn out. For him, it's just all over the place.
Wanting to bully March out. Just the arena for a low HP bottle.
Why not? I mean, it's a low cooldown as well, right? 75 seconds. It's not that long.
It's not that long. It is a bit of overkill. I believe March was already pretty darn low there. It's just for shoving it into March, letting him know it's still around.
But now the pipe finally comes out onto KP, but TNC has just fallen so far behind. In fact, it's a 6k net worth lead for T1. There is no real signs of slowing down. I mean, you look at Gabby's farm on the PL. He's been forced to go into a Hood of Defiance, try and sustain all the magic damage that's coming out, but
he really needs it.
Do anything yet?
I think it'll help, because just the defusal alone wouldn't have done enough. Again, he really wants to eat through that backline, go to the Pugna, go to the Leshrac. He can't sustain himself in that back. Even if he has that damage, he can't burn them fast enough to tank through that damage. This Hood should allow him that leeway, gives him a lot more to work with in the backlines, and I think that might give TNC a way of dealing with all that damage coming out.
Awesome. Just gonna
out.
TP out with Decrepify. Why not? They use the cookie. KP forever. He has Arena up. He won't commit quite yet. Pretty much all alone, but you know, it really goes to show how confident the Mars is. He's in the mid lane. He has no idea how many Radiant heroes are there, and he just doesn't care.
Forev is having a grand old time. He's really just hard to deal with. You'd expect to be able to say that about Armel, and you know, he is a tanky bristleback. He's got his Hood of Defiance and Vanguard, but it feels like it takes way too long for the bristleback to get that damage out. Whereas Mars with his kit just has so much more control, so much more burst potential with God's Rebuke as well, that it's a lot more obnoxious, and you can certainly push it to a further limit than you could a bristleback.
Miracle now as well has the full Mjolnir up and does have, well, he already had his BKB, but he's just looking bigger and bigger every time we look at him. It's like he is going after the Satanic next, and it's just TNC. I wonder how much longer they have to try and farm up here. As I mean, Armel, he's got a Lotus Orb now. That helps a little bit, especially up against that Decrepify of the Pugna. And then Forev just holds his shield up, and they are looping from behind as well. It's all a bait here. Miracle, he jumps on the high ground, spots on Armel. Armel's not really afraid, but now the arena's been dropped, so he's trapped in there. Do they have the damage? Primal will come out onto the Void, but now he can just Chrono. Miracle's still not throwing it out. He's just holding on, and now the Chrono comes out, though the spear knocks down Armel from the Chrono spear. So Miracle, he goes after the Keeper of the Light. March, falling low, does go down. A bit of a mishap there with the spear, but I guess you find something out of the Chrono in your dream. Doesn't manage to find KP. T1 still will maintain the advantage in this game.
Definitely. I mean, they still found a kill. They were forced to use their ults, and it doesn't quite pay off. That was a pretty good bait from Forev, baiting his team into dropping all the ults to get the spear out. To drag Armel out of that, saving Armel. Truly the MVP in that fight. Managed to push that bristleback out. Would have been a big blow for TNC if they did lose out under Bristle still. Gonna be fairly happy with those results, although they're gonna try again.
What? I mean, Armel is so far forward, all by himself. There's no towers for his team to TP to. He's been speared up, he's dead. I mean, I understand it. You're a bristleback, you're tanky, but not against 5 heroes, you're not.
Dire's bottom
This is going to be a massive opening for T1 to push onto the high ground. Going to be a very straightforward push. You've got the double damage on Miracle as well. So he's just going to lay it on. Too bad the creep wave is a bit too far behind.
They're coming.
Tower is under attack.
Blinding Light a bit early on as well. It's not like he was...
Dire's middle
They fortified.
tower is under attack.
There's nothing there, guys.
There was nothing there. That's a huge loss. Now the Rax is open.
Is under attack.
I'm not sure if that was a misclick, but there was literally 0 creeps. They were doing 0 damage. I guess maybe they just saw the double damage rune and didn't realize he wasn't doing anything yet. And now a spear back for Rev. He's gonna find the Beastmaster KP, and they burst him down.
Dire's structures
And that's it.
fortified.
That's one rack's gone.
Dire's bottom
The best they can do is
tower
split push with
remains
Gabby down to the bot lane, but
Radiant's
they've got to be careful not to lose any more. Luckily for TNC, Miracle, he did not have his chrono available, so they couldn't die for anything further than that, but huge misplay coming out with that fortification.
Oh.
Look at T1, they're waiting. No, he can't
no.
sustain this damage that comes out in your dream. He gets a stun off. Look at him just melt. He doesn't survive a second. It's Forev now going after Tim's. The Will-O-Wisp will hold the rest of them back a little bit, but Tim's just chasing him slowly but surely. Blinding Light will help a little bit, but I do mean a little bit. As Spear back for it, trying to go for March now. He really doesn't like the Keeper of the Light.
middle tower is under attack.
Doesn't matter. They're gonna go
All
mid.
of that was without Miracle around as well. So they've got the Chronosphere ready, they've got the Arena ready again, they've got the Egg ready. All the tools are there. Should be a straightforward push here. One.
Yeah, I don't know how you fight into this now. Like, with a chrono available, it just seems like there's no chance. You've got Primal Roar, but you're holding on to that for the Void when he does chrono up. With that, T1, they're still being very, very careful about this. They're not pushing too far forward. They may just wait out for that repair kit. T1, excuse me, do move back, surprisingly enough. I guess they just weren't 100% confident. And like, there's no real reason to risk anything too fast. You've got a 16k net worth lead, you don't want to give any of that away. In fact, they may find their opening now anyways. The smoke is going to be there from TNC, but Tim's reveals it. He does go for that mid creep wave, and they know Forever again puts his shield up, trying to bait them forward. They're looping all the way around the Roshan pit. Do they find it? It's a long walk,
Radiant's
TNC.
middle barracks are
Be
under
nice to
attack.
find Jocam to start this team fight off.
They're losing their melee racks.
Yeah, they've lost their racks. And now Armel shows himself. Miracle just looking for the chrono. There's the primal roar, but he's already BKB'd up. And now Paulson will just heal him up as the chrono does connect on three of them. Miracle found everybody. And with the Sun Ray, the Beastmaster will melt. KP is gone. He'll buy back. They do at least find Paulson, and Forever is also falling low. But you've lost Armel on the bristleback. Does he buy back into this? Well, Gabby's about to drop, so I think he may need to. Or perhaps this game might just be over as Tim's. He's melting to In Your Dream. He goes down. This is looking really, really bad. I think TNC may just be done with this, though. No, they'll buy back on Armel. They'll try to defend that final lane of barracks, but Miracle, he doesn't even want it. He wants a tier 4 towers. In Your Dream, meanwhile, just wants to cut March off. He'll TP right in front of the fountain, and he does get out.
Oh man.
And that is going to be one of the most demoralizing things I've ever seen.
Can I just say that is classic Indonesian Dota. Diving the fountain and managing to TP out. That actually pays off there. IYD, good work, baiting them into those buybacks. I mean, Armel does stop the push, but that's all they're gonna find. And T1, they did drop a couple of heroes there. They're still gonna be very happy with how that turned out. Of course, they did force the buyback on Armel. That is gonna give them a bit of an opening. The Roshan's back up. They don't have the chrono or the egg anytime soon, but they do have the position to apply onto that Rosh and just take it for themselves. No contestation coming out from TNC anytime soon. So that's going to be the Aegis and Cheese going the way of T1. And that just means you're going to have an even harder time keeping a lid on the aggression that the dark side has.
Certainly looks pretty bad. It's the Roshan.
Radiant
Gonna be taken. Now the immediate smoke up, Armel will break it. Miracle does not have Chrono, but they don't care. They have Arena. It'll be good enough. Armel trying to slow them down. They want KP. Primal Roar will come out immediately. Now the Will-O-Wisp also being dropped, but the egg is there. Do they protect? They cannot. Joe Camp does die. This could be the team fight TNC needed as the Will-O-Wisp is still holding everyone in, but they can't actually get the damage, and now they're on the cliff.
stuck.
Why are they on the cliff?
They got pushed.
Armel is just a sitting duck as Tins trying to run away, but the Pulse Nova from In Your Dream will burn him down, and everyone is just dying. They call the GG.
Oh man.
And
He
for
won.
Red, was that his spear pushing
Yeah.
him up, or was that the God's Rebuke?
One of those two shoved them all up. I believe it's God's Rebuke, because if that was the spear, they should have connected and got stunned up. So they